Josh just had a good point in the on-court interview. He said guy shot an air ball and then came up and knocked down that huge three. I mean, what does that say to you about a young player's mindset like that he can rally from that air ball and then knock down kind of that dagger three?
Well, I think after the air ball, you could tell he was upset, and I've always said this about him. He's not really afraid of the moment or leaning into those things. And, whatever he, did to course correct there, or give himself an opportunity to make that one, he did. But he's always kind of leaned into stuff. Like I said, a lot of young players, they think sometimes mistakes are something that, are not part of the growth and development piece. And the more guys lean into him, not that he wants to intentionally make mistakes, I don't mean that, but it doesn't distract him, it doesn't discourage him, it doesn't get him down. He's really got a really good mindset about that's how I've got to get better. I've got to go through this, and then I've got to be able to learn from it. So I give him credit for taking not only the one he missed, but also taking the next one. I think that showed great toughness for him, and I think the belief in our team has in him the fact they threw it to him again. When he was open.
5 left. You guys move it back ahead to Miami with the tiebreaker. Now, how much are you guys focusing or talking about amongst yourselves getting that home court advantage, or maybe even moving up to 8th?
Yeah, we're talking about. I would say I'm not showing them the standings, every single day. A lot of it's going to come down to as you get all this jockeying and all this other stuff. You can look at a lot of different stuff. I just want our guys to understand where we're at, and really all any team can do at this point in time is control what they can control. You know what I mean? And who knows what's going to happen around the league with, games, scores, those kind of things. You just don't. And we just need to focus on playing good basketball. I really was pleased with the way we played, against Toronto. I thought we were really sloppy today, in particular late in the fourth quarter. I thought we had too many careless turnovers and kind of gave them an opportunity to get back into the game. But we were able to close the game out and make some plays late. But we have to be better. We have to be better.
You feel, Josh?
What got his 200 double-double game equaled Scottie Pippen? How big is that?
Yeah, Vooch has been great. He got off to a great start offensively tonight. I think the guys did a really good job finding him. I thought we tried to get it to him maybe a little bit too much, and some of the turnovers we had were trying to feed him. But, I credit the guys of wanting to find him because he really had it going offensively. But Vooch has always been a guy throughout his career that gets double-doubles. So I'm not surprised by it, but certainly offensively, he got off to a really good start in the first half.
Good follow-up on Vucevic. Late in the season, he's a guy who plays a lot of games, and, it seemed pretty impressive that he, continues that energy. Outworked a rookie, really, around the basket.
Yep.
Took advantage, just like you said, coming out early and kind of, what do you see in him that he's, no offense, not his age, but, older player, able to sustain and continue to grow even as the season's going on?
He's been great to work with. I love being around him every day. He's incredibly professional. He's one of the first guys in there every day. He gets his work done. He takes care of his body. He's really a true professional, and he's very, very smart, and he's very bright, and he's got a really good high IQ. And, I even think him talking, in timeouts, even when we kind of lost our way a little bit in the fourth, calming them down and talking to them about having good possessions on both ends of the floor. But, you always feel like, from a coaching perspective, you're going to get a guy that comes ready to play, every night. And I feel like he really does do that. And I think a lot of it's got to do with the time and commitment that he puts into it, on the court and away from the court.
I feel like Giddy played tonight. He didn't shoot well, but had the triple-double. Like, how do you kind of assess how he played?
Yeah, I personally, I did not like his first half. I give him a lot of credit because he bounced back and played a really good second half. And I think he, again, he's got to, and it's not just Josh, it's really our team. But, we've got to be better with the ball, and certainly when you have guys that have got the ball in their hands quite a bit, they've got to be better. There's always going to be those guys are always going to have a few more turnovers than most of the other guys because the ball's in their hands a lot, but we got to be better there. But I thought he played I give him a lot of credit. I think he was a little bit frustrated with the way he was playing in that first half. He was 0 for 5. I think he maybe had 1 or 2 turnovers. I thought he missed a lot of opportunities to spray the ball out and find guys. But like the one thing about Josh, I feel like he's a really, really competitive. And I give, there's so many games, guys are not going to always play great every single night. And I think a lot of times, guys can get frustrated or down. He fights harder, and I really respected the way he came out in that second half because a lot of times it's not about how you respond when you're playing well. It's how do you respond when you're not playing well. And I give him credit that, to your point, he didn't really have a great stat line in the first half, but he got himself really involved and engaged in the game. He found people, he got rebounds, he got to the free throw line. He did a lot of really, really good things, even though he didn't maybe shoot the ball particularly well. And I think that that's hard to do, because a lot of times, sometimes when guys start off and it's not going well, it kind of can just be like a downward spiral the whole time. They just don't play well the whole game. So, I probably, give him a lot of credit because he's the one that was able to kind of course correct and get back to playing to how he's played, since really the All-Star break.